Hi, I'm Ken. To celebrate the fact that 1,000 of you folks have signed up to pay attention to these videos, which I'm frankly amazed at and amazed by, I'm going to answer some questions. So I opened up a Q&A thread on Twitter and Instagram, and I haven't really let myself look at them in advance that much, give them too much thought. So I'm just going to answer these quickly off the cuff and hopefully not embarrass myself. Here we go. How many Krarks could a Sakashima Krark if a Sakashima could Krark Krarks? Well, I think the probably the best, most rigorous answer is an arbitrary amount. As many as we want, really. You know, I've always loved the challenge of storm decks. I like the sort of the idea that you have to just build, and not necessarily win with all of that work, that it's sort of a high risk, high reward strategy. And I also like control decks, and this deck allows me to be both the controlling blue mage and the impulsive storm red mage that I think I am in my heart of hearts. I'd like to think that I could be swung at for 0 damage 100 times without swinging back with an Emrakul that I control, but more likely the answer is once, because it's about sending a message. You know, not really. I feel really good about where my decks are at right now. I do sort of like Lord Tressorhorn, that Grixis big, I think like a 7/2. Lord Tressorhorn's the creature mentioned in Sheldon Menery's first article about EDH, and I just think that would be kind of a cool, interesting Voltron deck. But a pet project that I put together and then disassembled with an old legend was Gwendolyn de Courcy, or Corci, probably Corsi.
I'd let her kill me.
I love that deck. It was called ASMR, Assassins, Spies, Mercenaries, and Rogues. It was like a intelligence agency tribal deck. Just featured lots of slinking around and, drawing cards in the shadows. Why do I play with my lands up front? Well, I'll just say I don't always play with my lands up front. Oftentimes when I stream, you'll see I have white, blue, black, red, green, and a colorless land up top, and that's just to keep track of floating mana. Sometimes I'll make myself play with my lands up front just to embrace the little utopian anarchist in my soul and remind myself that, rules are arbitrary. I mean, this is a good question. I'd have to probably do research to answer it responsibly, but my hunch tells me that Magic's financial whizzes understand that enfranchised players love spending lots of money on the game. That market space is there, and they're going to fill it because they're, again, a for-profit company, and they got to make that money. So I think that they just finally have leaned in to the fact that they don't capture any revenue from the secondary market on reserve list purchases, and whales like to buy RL cards, but they can make fancy stuff, and whales will buy the hell out of it. And I think that probably they got a first taste of this with the original masterpieces, the Kaladesh and Aether Revolt masterpieces and inventions. It's just making the money where the money can be made. That's a good question. I think Necropotence really feels to me like the most evocative card from the early days of me playing. I think that Shivan Dragon, that art, was probably the first piece of art from the game that really inspired wonder in me when I was a little fantasy novel reading kid. But a lot of cards have really strong positive associations in my mind, including now Krark and Sakashima, since it's really kind of the first deck that I've taken a public lead on brewing, and it feels good. It inspires a little humble pride. I know that's sort of a contradiction in terms, but it inspires a little pride in me that hopefully I don't let go to my head. I've been interested in the finance industry for a while. I think probably my interest peaked in 2008. I was an adult living through that crash, and I came to do a little homework to understand how the finance industry is really just, institutionalized gambling with a skin of social responsibility. But really, derivative markets, and sort of exotic derivative markets are really disastrous. They're just big gambles among the already rich that, when they blow up, don't negatively harm the already rich and disproportionately harm the already poor or the middle class. So I think that that historical event piqued my interest, and then I've just tried to pay a little attention ever since then. And I don't claim to know everything because it's a really complicated topic, but I'm happy to learn. I think, to be honest, the answer is like who I'm already playing with. That might sound corny or disingenuous, but it's true. I mean, the people I'm meeting now are really great. They're becoming sort of co-conspirators, and I really enjoy their presences, and I like getting to know them. I like jamming games with them. I mean, pros or Magic figures in history. I would obviously love to jam a game with Richard Garfield. I'd love to jam a game with Finkel. And there are various pros from the mid-90s who I really admired back in the day and still do, but I think really the people I'm playing with now are the most interesting to me. I mean, initially I just saw a goblin that had flip coin in the text, and my heart immediately pined. But again, I like non-deterministic decks. I like Storm builds. I like Izzet. Other decks that have hit the sweet spot for me are really the three that I have now. My modular, sort of casually minded Joda deck, my high power, tutorless, big mana combo / group hug / stacks Krufix deck, and a Siskel and Ebert. So I'm really happy where I'm at. And, I played a lot of decks in my day, but these three really do it for me. It would be an instant. It would be white. It would. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to pile on. I know WotC knows that white needs card draw and card advantage and ramp. They're gonna deal with it. It just takes them a little while from when they learn to when products come out. I don't know. How about a card that's like a blue instant that costs 1 blue mana that says draw 3 cards, and that isn't on the reserve list? Okay, but the question was realistically see being printed. I don't know. I've designed games before privately, kept them among small circles of friends, but I'm not confident in my game design chops to sit down and answer that question. But maybe I'll think about it, and if I come up with a card design that I think is actually feasible to be printed and that wouldn't skew the game too strongly in any one direction, I'll let you know. To be honest, it's just the time commitment of editing videos. The gameplay videos back in the day, the first few that I edited on my own, they took anywhere between 18 and 25 hours just to edit, and then again another couple hours to record, about another hour to organize. So that's more or less 30 hours for 15-ish or 10 to 15-ish minutes of content. So that ratio is pretty crushing. But I have now a friend, a local Zeke Brecker, who is editing videos for me. He's tagged in the credits on each video I post, and he's been great, and he edits quick because he's a young man, and I'm an old-ass janky man. He's a young man, he can move fast, and he's doing a great job. I think that's the most difficult thing. Being on camera, I'm used to that from my past career. Interfacing with people, getting to know new people, I like doing it, so it's not difficult to me. And branding is not, I'm a designer, so I like designing stuff and making visual content. But yeah, it's just that time commitment. Video editing is so laborious. I don't think there are any bad cards in Magic. I think if you watch my last video about what casual and competitive mean, you'll see my argument fleshing out that claim. But yeah, I don't think there's a bad card. I don't think there's a bad effect. I'm okay with mass land destruction. I'm okay with stacks. I'm okay with counter magic. I'm okay with being one-shotted by a Voltron deck. I'm okay with infect. I like it all. It's all part of the game I love. They're all mechanical strategies that are viable and valid as ways to try to win or try to create interesting board states. So I like them all. Stasis, thumbs up. I don't think I can play all of Doom in the way that Tim Rogers played all of Doom, having played every Doom 5 times each. But I would like to go back and play Doom. I probably can't make it on the highest difficulty because I'm a scrub. But I loved that game as a kid. Very definitive for me. So Cobblepot, I'll consider it just for you though. Maybe we can, post-COVID, wire up a LAN party. Do it old school. First Sliver? I think that's got to be right. I really like Ukima and Kazura though. I just think switching to a beats plan is really cool in a combo deck. I think that's why I love Najeela too. But I think it's probably for First Sliver, right? Made it happen. Save the date, January 31st, 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Krakow. Commander is a social format. Rule 0 is this format's principal rule, and by rule I mean recommendation, to have a conversation with the people you play with. I believe that, and I think that if we leaned into that more and more, we could realistically unban every card, let people play with whatever pieces of painted cardboard they like, and then have more sophisticated matchmaking methods in public events like Magic Fest so that there aren't too big a disparity between power levels or strategies. So yeah, I'd unban everything and just let local metas ban the cards that they don't like and have conversations about it, because again, it's a social format. We should be able to play with whatever little rectangles we like. Did I attend university? Yes. So I attended a weird college called St. John's. There are campuses in Santa Fe and Annapolis. It's a great book school. So you start in freshman year reading a bunch of old Greeks, and in senior year you make it to about 1950, 1960, and you read a lot of the most influential texts that have been written. Of course, it's a Eurocentric program, as these sort of canonical great book schools are, so there's a ton of stuff that you don't read, but more important to me than what we read, the method of that school is very important. You sit around a table with students and professors who are called tutors. They ask a question and then conversation ensues. That's how you learn. Everybody participates. It's democratic, like truly democratic, and it's really a humane way to sort of puzzle over something that's complicated and form a productive, meaningful conversation around that thing, and pursue your interests sincerely and openly, and not try to bullshit and pretend like you know stuff you don't. So the method is incredible, and I think that method can be applied to any sort of text from any sort of cultural tradition. And I love the school a lot, and they're my current employer. So they're giving me health insurance, and I enjoy my job. I help students for a living, and help them with their writing too. So I love it. I think it's a very important college. It was the only college that made sense for my weird brain, and I'm glad it exists. And I think it informs my creativity insofar as it helps me really know what I don't know, or sort of sense what I don't know, and not be afraid to lead with complexity and lead with questions rather than sort of, simplifying things and being dogmatic. Hopefully I'm doing that. Necropotence, number 1. Ancestral Recall, number 2. Chaos Orb, number 3. Number 4 would be Krark, the Thumbless. Number 5, Lightning Bolt. That's it. I'm sticking to it. I'm not going to revisit it. It probably will change every 5 seconds. I don't really listen to music while doing much these days. My mind has been fragmented quite a bit by COVID and the isolation of COVID. So I more or less just sort of focus on one thing at a time. Although most of the time when I am listening to music while doing other stuff, I'm listening to rap. Some favorite artists, Kendrick Lamar. I've been listening to a lot of Doom, rest in peace lately. Some J. Cole. I've been listening to Wu-Tang and Kendrick and ODB and early Kanye. Those are all on constant rotation for me. Early Kanye and even late Kanye. His political ideology is complicated and not mine, but he's an incredible artist, and his artistry has not been sort of mitigated by maybe his mistaken love for a fascist. And then just favorite band in general is favorite artist, musical artist is Kendrick for sure. Favorite band, 9 Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails for sure. Oh, and the last one from Twitter, what's my social security number? It's 281-330-8004. Good luck, have fun. To be honest, I think if everybody walks away feeling like they're able to either do something influential that affected the course of the game, or if they're able to walk away with an evocative memory of a moment in the game, makes it a good game. Bad games are, I think, those in which people are frustrated, people are angry, maybe not about the game itself, but that anger is there in them, and they use the game as sort of a channel for that anger, that frustration. Also, games in which people are really dismissive of one another's choices, I think is pretty shitty, pretty harmful. So yeah, I think a good game is just a game in which people generally could walk away and said, yeah, I had fun, or that was an interesting moment, and I feel like I could participate in a meaningful way. And bad games are those in which people walk away and say, man, that person was an asshole, or that was really shitty. I just felt bad. I felt bad about playing the cards that I play. I felt bad about that situation. I felt bad about the disparity. We didn't have a rule zero conversation, whatever. No, I think that's my full answer. I think that, again, I advocate for unbanning every card. So if somebody wants to play Linval as their commander, or if somebody wants to play the commander who shuts out monocolored decks, or if somebody wants to play 15-drop Emrakul, take extra turns, go for it. Do it. I want to see the thing. I want to see you do the thing. I want to see you play and enjoy the little rectangles, painted rectangles that you love, as long as I kind of more or less know what to expect and feel like I can do something in the game, I'll be happy. And even if I get totally shut out, but somebody like does the thing and really does it efficiently and beautifully or powerfully, I'll be impressed. Maybe I won't want to play against that deck all the time, but I think it'll be cool and a fun challenge to try to do what I can against that strategy. So yeah, no bad decks, no bad commanders, no bad strategies. It's all good. Sorry for the Boros fans out there, but the Boros strategies that I could brew, I'm not that creative of a brewer. They just were kind of boring to me, like extra combats or burn. I never had that much fun. I had an Aurelia deck that was sort of my Boros baby, and I don't love attacking as my primary strategy. General advice on selling a collection or a significant portion of one. So I would say that if you are able to, if financially you don't need the cash, hold on to cards. Every time I've sold a card and then go back, a couple of years later to look at the value, sometimes the value doesn't increase, but a lot of times, most of the time, I'd say it does. So holding on to cards is really a good strategy. The player base of Magic is not going anywhere. Paper Magic is not going anywhere. If COVID couldn't kill Paper Magic, literally nothing will, unless there's like a nuclear apocalypse or something. Yeah, Paper Magic's going to be around for a while. I think the Lindy effect kind of bears that out. Yeah, if you can hold on to cards, do it. And then when you're ready to sell, I would try to sell the cards one by one, either to private individuals or, sell them to Card Kingdom. They make the process pretty easy and they give you a decent amount of money. Or even better, take them into a local game shop, see what they can do for you. Try to work with them just one-on-one and see how much the cash they can give you and how much they can help you out. And good luck. My hair just does what it wants. Seriously, when my hair is like up and crazy, anytime you've seen that on camera, there's nothing in it. There's no product in it. That's just how my hair lives. It's living its best life. It does what I want. I work with it. It does not work with me. Yeah, it gets out of hand, and sometimes I gotta shave it all off to, tell it to calm down for a little bit, and then probably a month later, it'll be just as tall. It grows so fast. Good, cool. I'm for it. Whatever you like. That's, it's not hurting anybody. You like pineapple on pizza? Great. Enjoy. Running Breach without LED is a sin. It might not be a sin, but if you're playing a competitively minded deck, throw LED in there. It's one slot, and worst comes worst, it's decent. It's decent ramp if you need 3 mana in a pinch. So yeah, no, run LED if you're running Breach in a competitively designed deck for sure. So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this quick Q&A. Hopefully I wasn't too repetitive or inane with my responses. Thank you for all 1,000 of the subscribers on YouTube. Thank you for everyone paying attention to me on Twitter and Instagram. Thanks for this growing community. I'm really happy to be more in the EDH scene than I was before starting Stacked EDH. And I'm just, really happy to be here. So thanks for watching. See you soon.